What's up, everyone? As of late today, the Canadian government released the 2019 Canada Food Guide, and here is a quick little diagram of it. As you can see, honestly, Canada, I salute you. I think we're making progress. This is definitely some steps forward in terms of health and nutrition and how to guide our Canadians into a healthier lifestyle. So as you can see here, this diagram, it shows that the Canada Food Guide suggests that half of your plate contains vegetables and fruit, quarter of your plate should be protein, and quarter should be grains. So we're making some progress. So I'm going to give you 5 tips how you can incorporate using this into your lifestyle, and 5 tips how to eat better. I hope you enjoy. Tip number 1, drink
more water.
At the top part of the diagram in Canada's Food Guide, it actually says, make water your number 1 choice. So we're made up of more than 60% water. Our cells in our body are more than 60% water. When we drink water, it helps with our hydration, it helps with our detoxification, it supports our liver, our kidneys, our blood. It keeps us young, it keeps the elasticity in our skin. So we need water. It's very, very important. Actually, in my book, 30-Day Challenge, I've got a chapter all about water and hydration and how it's important to drink water and how much water we should be consuming on every day. So, number 1, drink more water. Tip number 2, less carbs. Now, that stands for also processed carbohydrates and refined carbohydrates. We've got to know and understand that ultimately glucose, sugar, it's the same thing. Carbohydrates come before that, and carbohydrates turn into glucose. And glucose is our number 1 source of fuel. But if we don't use up that fuel, it turns to fat. So anytime you eat a carbohydrate, a refined carbohydrate, anything that's processed carbohydrate, if it comes in a box, muffin, cookies, Ritz crackers, and I love them, but sorry, they're in it. Bagels, chips, Melba toast, anything like that, even if you think it's healthy, if it's a carbohydrate, Canada Food Guide is saying a lot less carbohydrates, and I'm saying a lot less refined and processed carbohydrates. So you got to understand, remember that if you don't use up that fuel, carbohydrate turns into glucose, fuel, if you don't use it up, if you're not strategic about it, it's going to turn to fat. So ultimately, if you're not really an active person, you should be really mindful and cautious of your carbohydrate intake. So Canada Food Guide says, reduce those carbs. That's number 2. Okay, number 3 is more protein and proper protein. So what they're saying is your sources of protein need to be healthy and lean. And what I'm saying is you want to try to eat proteins that are not fried or overly cooked, because you're going to lose a lot of the nutritional value. Plus, at the same time, there's carcinogens with heavy, heated, and fried meats, and you don't want to eat that. Actually, I recently saw someone that's promoting the ketogenic diet, which is great, but they're eating a lot of fried foods and chicken wings and hot dogs, and I think they're going about it the wrong way. In fact, I know they're going about it the wrong way. So if we're going to go to the Canada Food Guide, a quarter of your plate being protein, make sure that it's a lean protein, not really high in fat, and also be wary of how you're cooking it. If there's a little bit of juice, if it's red meat, that's okay. A lot of the nutrients are in there, obviously. But if you're eating, chicken or turkey, pork, you want to be aware that's got to be cooked properly, along with shellfish and whatnot. So they're saying, be mindful of your protein sources. If you're vegetarian, there's still lots of vegetarian sources, but you need an adequate amount of protein per meal in order to obtain healthier health. Okay, so Canada Food Guide saying, mindful of your protein sources. Okay, number 4, being in Canada, we live in a very ranging climate, 4 seasons, and so we need to eat a different array of vegetables.
So I'm going to say diverse selection of vegetables.
So what that means is In the winter months, you want to have more root vegetables, more dense vegetables, because they have the tendency to kind of warm us up. They take a little bit more to digest, more effort. And in the summer or the warmer months, you want to have more fruit or lighter vegetables, because they're a lot easier to digest, and they actually contain a lot more water, so they kind of regulate us, they cool us down a little bit. So again, half of the plate in the Canada Food Guide suggests that you have a lot of vegetables, and that's very healthy. A lot of vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, antioxidants. That's Mother Nature right there. So we definitely should be consuming a lot more vegetables. And my spin on things, you don't necessarily have to have a whole diverse plate of vegetables each meal, but what I'm saying is you need half of that serving needs to be vegetables. So maybe one meal is a different vegetable, another meal is some fruits and vegetables, another meal is a different type of vegetable. Don't try to make it too confusing on yourself, right? So at least get in more vegetables per meal. Okay, and I really like this one, that's why I saved it for the end, is number 5, being aware of your eating habits.
Number 5, habits.
This means you're not eating in a rush. You're preparing your food. You're putting some love into your food. You're sitting down at the table and having good, stimulating conversation with your family or your friends. Or you're sitting alone in peace and not being distracted by the TV or loud music or anything. Being aware of your eating habits and being mindful of the food that you eat can give you a good sense of nourishment and not being rushed. And when you prepare your food, you've got a little bit of a connection to Mother Nature, rather than being rushed and getting your food from fast food and not even knowing where it is. And also, we need to chew our food. We need to take our time and chew our food. Just by actually being in front of the food while you're preparing it and smelling it, you're getting these senses. Your body's starting to stimulate digestion even before you began eating. So that's the whole thing of eating mindful and understanding that your environment is a big factor. So be mindful of your environment, chew your food, eat in a calm, poised state. And if you're at work and you're eating, try to eat your meal away from your desk. So take half an hour. I know it's kind of challenging, but you'll have better digestion and you'll have better work performance when you've separated the two. Okay, so that's the 5 Canada Food Guide. Congratulations, we're making progress. And on that note, talking about eating better and eating right. We're all told to eat right, eat right, eat right. And it's kind of challenging. Like, sometimes we don't know what exactly is eating right or wrong, right or wrong. But we do definitely understand how to eat better. And when you have an understanding of the Canadian Food Guide, it's going to help you eat better. Every day, be more mindful of your carbohydrates, more mindful of what you drink, what you consume, more mindful of your environment. Every day, if you really take time to be mindful and make better steps, I think that you're going to move forward in the right direction with your health and nutrition. So I think we can agree that eating right, we don't necessarily have to worry about that, but we can certainly make a concerted effort to eat better. Make sense? In good health, in good spirit.